Once again, this is Joe from Joyful Noise Productions, here to bring you another tutorial for the Valeton GP200. And this time, we're going to use Ableton with it. So do me a favor, like this video, share it to all your friends, and don't forget to subscribe. And also, please go ahead and hit the notifications bell, and also let's start a conversation in the comments section so that maybe we can be able to help each other, maybe even get even better opportunities to be able to make the Valeton GP200 a better unit. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Now, Ableton has been a game changer for a lot of musicians and live production, whether it be used to control stage lighting, pyrotechnics, or music gear. In the ability to integrate your gear with digital audio workstations has been able to allow people to unlock a whole new level of creativity and productivity. And this within use of automation in live shows with computers, understanding how to get the Ableton to control your performance can be paramount. Yeah, I know there's a lot of guilty people that are saying out there about backing tracks and all this other stuff, but I use it a lot. But I don't use, I use backing tracks, but I don't use. I've been using some of the automation from Ableton to control my unit. So when I'm performing, I won't have to worry about tap dancing. Everything's just right on the fly. So it has become essential to have a seamless workflow when I use it for my Valeton GP200. So I can focus more on playing music rather than trying to fight with the equipment as I'm performing. Now, when it comes to performing or controlling with the GP200 with Ableton, sometimes it's a lot of frustration to try to figure it out and how to get it to work. One of the biggest challenges is trying to get the two systems to talk to each other. Some people may have tried it before, and some may have ended up shelving the whole idea, in trying to link the two. And probably just like you and I myself have tried to search online to look for tutorials regarding that. Especially when it comes to Ableton. They're either non-existent, or they're unclear, or they're outdated. Believe me, I have searched far and wide for these tutorials, and just to let you know, so you're not alone. All of us probably in the Valeton community have probably struggled to set our GP200 up with Ableton. And not because we're not tech savvy or anything like that. It's because it can be overwhelming, especially if you're new at doing something like this. And believe me, for me to kind of do this tutorial and to kind of get it to this point was pretty frustrating as it is. Many users have struggled in finding clear guidance in how to set up their GP200 with Ableton. So there are many different settings and options, and it's hard to know where to start. You might have been wasting hours scrolling through forums, or even going through YouTube comments, or even trying to find solutions to the problem. But guess what? I did all the hard work for you. So if you want a simpler way, let's kind of dive in it together, and I'll show you how it's done. So what we're going to do is we're going to dive deep into this, setting this up with Ableton in the process, and how to get it ready to be able to work, for the two systems to work with each other. Now, first, we got to understand how to connect it. Obviously, when it comes to the computer, you want to get the cable that comes with it, or get the C cable for the USB, which I have, which is a longer one. It's like about 10 feet. So I could be able to use it for performing and stuff like that. But in my use of these kinds of cables, I rather use a MIDI. That way it hooks right into your interface, and it can be able to communicate with that. Okay, so a USB-C. So a USB-C or a MIDI cable will do. So now what we're going to do is we're going to jump right into the DAW. Okay, now when you open up Ableton, obviously it's going to come up like this. This is what you call your session view. But what we want to do is we want to put it in arrangement view. So this highlighted right here, this is that I have the lines going up. That is your session view. Your arrange view goes horizontal. So when you click it, it's going to look something just like this. And you're going to see you're going to have your MIDI tracks and your audio tracks. So for right now, what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of these. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to delete and delete. Now, let's just say you're setting up for a song, okay? And you got so many tracks. You need the MIDI tracks to control your GP200. All you got to do is just right click and insert MIDI track and label it for what it is, and that's how it'll come together. Now, to make sure that your GP200 is hooked up, we're going to go right here into the options. We're going to go to preferences, and we're going to go to the link MIDI. Now, as you see right here, it kind of gives you an idea of what you're looking at, but we're going to go right here into the MIDI ports. Now, the MIDI ports is where it's going to be all at. Now, this has an inputs. In other words, we can actually be able to put in information from the GP200 into the Ableton. But we want to focus on is the output, because we need the Ableton to talk to this guy. Okay, so when we're going to go to the output tab. Okay, we're gonna have make sure everything's clicked to what it is, where it says song in this case. Okay, now where it says track, we don't need that, but what we do need is sync and remote on. We need those two, so that way the messaging can be able to get to the unit. Okay, so once we know that, so once it reads, we're ready to go. Now the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna create a MIDI track. But before we go any further, we're gonna go into the one thing that's very important, and that is your online manual. As I mentioned in many of my videos, the online manual is going to help you out with a lot of things. Some things are still a little head scratching to figure out, but when it comes to far as how to control the MIDI, how you get the MIDI controls to work, that's going to kind of give you certain things to look for. So when it comes to the Ableton, you need to make sure that you have that manual on hand. Because what we're going to do is now we're going to create a MIDI track. So we're going to click, and press down. Then we're going to press Control Shift or Command and Shift if you have Mac. Then you're going to press M as well. So it's going to be Control. So it's going to be Shift. So it'll be Control Shift M together. Now, as you see, I created a MIDI track. So, and this is what it's going to look like. So what we're going to do now is we're going to kind of, let me make sure it just kind of goes 1/16. Sounds pretty good. So we'll just leave it there. Now, right here is your clip view. This is going to tell you what's involved. Now, right here, kind of put this right over here a little bit. Now, one thing, here's where we're going to make the program changes, and here's where we're going to set it up. So, one thing you want to keep in mind about the GP200, obviously it has a whole lot of presets and stuff like that, but we got to remember that it only reads up to 128. That's usually the magic number when it comes to using MIDI control. So if you're going to set up your GP200, you want to make sure you set it up in the first maybe the first 25, maybe less than that, maybe first 20. If you're gonna be using Ableton with the GP200, so that way you can be able to kind of get those notes, those program changes in, because the program change right here is going to be where you're going to put the banks at. So I'm going to put 15 here. So this is going to kind of give me an idea of how to set it up. Now I kind of did a little bit of a practice with this, so it's going to change a little bit. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to kind of do this right here also as well. Okay, and we're going to make this 13. Okay, so just let you know, I already have all the banks set up for this. So let's just say we already have all the banks set up. Okay, also keep in mind you can also be able to right click it as well. So if you right click it, you could be able to see where, okay, you can export the MIDI clip if you choose to, but usually if you want to make a fresh MIDI, so let's just say you want to make a fresh MIDI clip, okay, where it says insert MIDI clip, you can do it like that as well. Just right click and it'll come up with what you need. Okay, so this first MIDI track, we're going to call this channel switching. So we're going to rename it. So this is going to be like our channel switching. So now we're going to go ahead, we're going to go directly into the unit, and you're going to hear how it sounds. So I'm going to be putting on my headphones because this is a late night, and right now some of my family members are in bed. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to do this now. Hey everyone, right now this is Joe. I'm right now going through the video editing process of this tutorial. I skipped the most important part, and that is to set up your channel. When it comes to your MIDI channel, one thing you always want to do is go to the channel, but go to the output tab. And what you're going to do, you're going to go to the output tab, and the way it's going to say no output. And what you're going to do is you're going to click on it, on the tab, you're going to bring it down, and you're going to click on the GP200. And from there, everything should be able to work just fine. Remember, where it says channels, for right now, don't worry about it. Unless you're assigning multiple MIDI instruments, right now, channel 1 is just good. Okay, so now back to your regular tutorial. Now, as you get to see right here, you can see right here where my finger's at, where it says JC. I have the JC 120 sound, so it's gonna sound something like this as we play it. So now the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you the slow down, which you probably heard in the beginning. And now see, we're going to go with the lead. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, we're going to show you that this thing actually switches channels. So let's go ahead. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of go here just to kind of, so you kind of see what it's doing. Can I put this up just a little bit? There we go. All right, so this is what it's going to look like. Oops. Skip the part, forgot some things. Okay, so obviously where it says no output, obviously you got to go to see MIDI 2. No, something's not right here. Configure. Okay. Okay, so obviously your GP200 has got to come up. Okay, so as you're going to see now, we're ready. We should be ready. Okay, here we go. Let's try this again. So now as you see, now it changes again. Then something went wrong here. Okay, well, let me see. Oops. Now as you begin to see, I forgot to put that in. So now as you can see right here, now you see it, everything, it all changes. So now remember, everything you do with this is got to it's got to line up. Okay. So again, you want to make sure your program changes are in place. Make sure your GP200 is on, and that's how you get your channels to change. So obviously, when it comes to a song, you want to make sure you get your presets set up with that song just like this, and then it'll change instantly. Now what we're going to do is we're going to install some effects. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to, as you see, I install another MIDI track. So this will be like my effects, so I can be able to put my effects there. I mean, if you're going to be using maybe like a delay, something like that, or maybe to kind of switch the wall on, you probably need another MIDI track just to kind of make sure you're able to kind of get those on. So I'm gonna kind of add this also as well. So now we're gonna go ahead, but let's start with this one first right here. Okay, basically what I'm gonna do right here, stretch this out just a little bit. Okay, so what we're gonna do now, I kind of know some of the envelopes that go on here. Now you see right here where it says MIDI control. This is what's gonna turn on the effects. So as you see right here, you got a list of things to look at. Now 55 is the delay. So now when it comes to using this right here, it's gonna go into a delay. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna start it right here. Oops, let's try this again. Make sure you get my guitar on. Okay, let's kind of get that back on. Let's kind of just do this here. Maybe it was already on. Okay, let me see. Okay, let me go right over here. Okay, so actually, let me go ahead and so what you do is, in order, as you see, like now all this turned on. So when you put it up, now you got your delay on. Now we're gonna kind of go over here a little bit. This one's more of the wah pedal. So wah pedal is usually about 57. So what I'm gonna do, put this all the way up like so. So now what we're gonna do, now we're gonna kind of go into the delay. Nope, I forgot to set it up again. Duh. There we go. All right. Okay, here we go. Let's try it again. Let's see. Now you hear a little bit of difference in the sound, right? So let's try this again. So as you're going to see, this allows you. So instead of having to press certain things and like that, as you can see, it just switches right over and it allows you to go. So as you probably look at it, it seems to come off pretty easy. Well, once you kind of understand it and get it, it does come together. Now, one thing you have to do is when it comes to setting up these banks, you know, you have to do it in multiples of 4. You know, like bank 1 is going to be 1 through 4. Bank 2 is going to be 5 through 8, you know, and so on. They got to be done in multiples of 4. So that way, when you start doing the programming, since your program changes, it comes in all together like so. So as you begin to observe, it didn't take very much. And as you probably saw the way I kind of did it in the beginning intro, that's how everything's set up. So I hope you guys kind of see how all this works together. But if you guys still not sure, let me know. Put it in the video, like I said. Put it in the comments. But, if anything, we can probably go on the Valeton Facebook website, and we can be able to chat about it. So, if you guys like this video, do me a favor. Once again, like this video, share it to all your friends, and don't forget to subscribe. So until next time, peace out.